Let me give you a little preview.
Yep.
The pants are connected to the top. That's how I'm rolling today because I'm on day 3 of a liver cleanse. But more importantly than all that nonsense, we are here with Ian McCall, Uncle Creepy. What's up, my friend? How you doing?
I wish I was in my onesie. I'm looking for it.
Yeah, I got
It's just,
I got it last week, and then I saw Josh Berkman wearing it the whole weekend in Vegas. I was like, yeah, Josh. I mean, it didn't help him against Hector Lombard, but I don't think onesies have that much power.
no, I just, it's 80 degrees where I live, so Southern California sucks, right? I just can't wear a onesie. It's
You could wear like a mesh onesie.
Oh, that would be so sleazy and awesome. But then what about the package?
Yeah, well, maybe you'd have to wear some like leather drawers or something. I don't know. Just get freaky with it, Ian. Your name is Uncle. Your name is Uncle Creepy. I mean, why don't you live up to your moniker?
Oh man, because sadly I'm not that creepy.
So what is the origin? What's the genesis of that name?
Okay, so my good friend Sean, his son calls me Uncle Ian, and one night I was like trying to put him to bed. It was like 3 in the morning, and my buddy was a bartender in Vegas, so his kid's on his time because he was only like 2 or 3 years old, and everyone else is wasted. And I'm like, well, I'm gonna put him to bed. I'm sober, so I'm just gonna play with him. And he just kept saying Uncle Ian, and then Uncle Creepy, and all my friends heard. I always thought the nicknames were so stupid because they are.
Yeah.
But I don't know, it stuck, and that was before all of this. This wasn't supposed to happen.
Yeah.
I don't think I was supposed to be as good as I am, or no one thought I would, so it didn't matter. I just took it as a joke.
Right.
I do most things.
All right. Oh, that's an interesting story. I was always curious about that. So let's talk about how good you are, in fact, and talk a little bit about your career. So, I mean, I think one of the highlights, you got a Fight of the Night honors with Mighty Mouse John Dodson, who's since seemed completely invincible. Tell us a little bit about that fight and what you think potentially for the future with that.
I think I won that fight. And even if I didn't, I could see it going to a draw. Mm-hmm. I would have finished him in the 4th round. Mm-hmm. But that was years ago. I don't want to do the Al Bundy, 4 touchdowns in one night. It just, I got screwed, and then we had a rematch, and I let the whole thing affect me negatively with outside stuff, and then I just performed poorly over the next couple fights. And now, now I'm back to the form I'm supposed to be in. I mean, I think people know that I'm the only person that can give DJ a run for his money. Mm-hmm. I think UFC and some other people wanted Horiguchi, the Japanese kid who just beat Gaudio. It's my girlfriend in the background. But, I think he showed he's not on that level, and I'm not on our level yet.
Yeah, for sure.
So, I think I'm 1, maybe 2 wins away from a title shot.
Mm-hmm. What is it about your style and your abilities that, makes you believe that you are the one to potentially beat DJ?
A lot of it comes down to scrambling. He can out-scramble everybody. He's faster than everybody. Well, I'll out-scramble you. I can out-scramble anybody. Mm-hmm. Like, that's part of my thing. Babe, you're in the back. Put
It was
glamorous, right?
It was pretty interesting, actually. I was wondering what she was doing.
It's Aubrey from.
Good morning. Sorry you just had to see me naked.
Good morning. Bonus podcast.
It happens. It could have been worse, right?
Yeah, indeed.
But so yeah, I'm just maybe I'm just as fast. I don't think if anyone's faster, he's a little faster because it's incredible how fast he is. But wrestling wise, I'm better. Jiu-jitsu wise, I'm hands down better. Kickboxing, we're different, but I don't see. I think technically we're both very proficient at what we do, and that's setting up takedowns and doing stuff, and I don't really see him out wrestling me.
Right.
But I think I'm a stylistic nightmare for him, and plus, I already kind of beat him up once. Granted, he beat me up the next time, but
Well, first things first. You're supposed to fight Lineker, and some weird shit happened. What went on with that?
And I'm not one of those like health people that thinks that health food is gonna I'm not one of the people who's like, no, I'll wait on antibiotics because my kid's dying.
Right.
Let's see if whatever stupid nutritional thing can fix it. I'm like, no, I can take antibiotics. But I'm so healthy. I have 15 meals that are prepared for me every week, and they're vegan. My daughter, has the, rheumatoid arthritis, so the house is pretty much gluten free.
Mm-hmm.
Sugar, all this stuff. So I eat so healthy. I figured I could break it down and get rid of it myself.
And what is this? Take a step back, because a lot of people may not know.
Oh, it's a blood. I had a blood infection,
Mm-hmm.
a bacterial infection in my blood, and I knew the UFC surprise tested me, or whatever you call it, 2 or 3 weeks before my fight, and they called me back and they're like, well, there's a problem. I was like, okay, well, I know I'm not doing illegal shit. What is the you gonna tell me I have AIDS right now?
You're pregnant.
Yeah, or I'm pregnant. It could have happened. And so my doctor calls me and he's like, oh, your white blood cell count's high. What do you want to do? I was like, I'll be fine. It wasn't crazy high. It wasn't like some crazy stuff. I had an infection, and I said no to antibiotics. I just figured that I could push it out of my body with proper diet and supplements, and as naturally as possible. I didn't go see a witch doctor or anything. I figured
well, that's where you fucked up,
Ian.
Witch doctors are the shit, especially when they got the little shrunken heads around their neck. That's how you know they're good.
And a big old jug of ayahuasca.
No, that's scary as shit. Actually, you see that, I would fucking run.
It was just I just felt that I was healthy enough to get rid of it, and then once I got to Brazil, I cut the weight, 27 hours of travel. My body just failed me, but I made my finger how it works so well. That's straight, by the way. I got to Brazil and my body just fell apart. I mean, I made weight because that's my job, and I the whole time I was like, I'll fight through it, I'll be fine. And then after weigh-ins, my body just completely shut down.
Yeah.
They had to take me to the hospital, and the UFC doctor in Brazil, I can't remember his name. He's like, I pulled your blood. If it comes back with an infection, then you can't fight. I'm gonna pull you. So I woke up in the morning. I slept for 12 hours, and I was sleeping maybe an hour a night. Slept for 12 hours. Woke up in the morning, and it was late. And I kind of looked around. My coaches were still sleeping, so I kind of knew what had transpired while I was sleeping.
Yeah.
The doctor came in and talked to my coach, and they said just let him sleep. Of course, I would just go on my phone, and I'm like, ooh, let's check social media. And of course, it was Ian McCall has to pull out and all this stuff, and not very happy.
That's a bummer, but you get to fight him this month, right?
Yeah, I fight him the 31st, Super Bowl weekend on the Anderson card. And, man, preparing for someone for this long is so annoying. But I'm excited. I'm in shape. Everyone's banged up. I've been doing this sport for 12 years as a professional. So your body's beat up, but I feel great mentally, physically. My diet's on point, you know.
Yeah.
So it's the only reason I'm eating a giant bonsai bowl, because they give me free bowls. Right now is because all my meals for the rest of the week haven't been delivered. You know.
So you eat vegan most of the time or all the time?
Most of the time.
Most of the
I
time.
can't. I've gone 30 years of my life eating meat.
Right.
You know, red meat, fish, chicken. I'm vegan throughout the day, I guess you could say. Like, I eat my first 3 meals are vegan, completely plant-based. And then when I get home,
You're a fucking werewolf at night.
Yeah, and at night, like, let's say you eat 21 meals a week. Well, 15 are vegan, so those extra 6 meals is me, like, in bed at 11 at night, like cutting up a piece of, you know, ahi or making a steak. My buddies own a ranch. They send me all the grass-fed organic, no hormone beef, and so that's kind of funny how that's how my cheat meals go. I don't really eat candy and crap anymore, or much. I mean, I do sometimes, but me cheating is having like a big piece of meat.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Even though it's not really cheating, your body probably truly needs that to operate at the level that you're at. Another thing, so to get away from fighting for a minute, you had an experience that would you classify it as a near-death experience or a full-death experience?
I died.
Full death experience. Tell us about that.
You know, I was just young and stupid and took too many drugs. You know, like the ongoing theme with kids or people around this area is just like more is better. And everyone's medicated, and it's Orange County. Not everyone, but a lot of people are on pills and stuff, and I just took a bunch trying to get a tattoo, and there's a plethora of things, Oxycontin and Xanax and GHB, and I don't even know what else. But
whatever it was formed the death cocktail.
Yeah, you know, that's what happens. You can't be, you know, like pulling on your body in so many different directions and expect your heart not to give out, or, you know, like me, my I stopped breathing. I aspirated. You know, they hit me with, I think, 3 EpiPens.
Wow.
Which is enough for like 600 pounds of people.
Mm-hmm.
And they told my brother as I was being carted off, like, yeah, you know, your brother's probably not going to make it. I can only imagine how that felt for him. He's my older brother, and he's taken care of me my whole life.
Yeah. So what would you kind of say if you had a chance to talk to some people who are on that kind of partying path? I mean, obviously they've all heard, oh man, you should stop all that. But what's like some real wisdom from someone who's been there and almost paid the ultimate price?
The party ended a long time ago. You know it. I know it. Like, it's not fun anymore. You know, like any heavy drug user will tell you, like, you know, there's points where you know it's over. Like,
yeah.
Recreational use of whatever you want, like whether you're John Jones and you want to party and do some blow, whatever, dude. Like, or you know, you want to go out to the desert and eat some peyote buttons and like have fun or whatever it is. Then that's your own deal. But like, the people in those situations, or at least me, you got to find some sort of outlet. I mean, for me, it was the gym, and it was church. And I'm a failed Catholic. I just hate AA, and I had to go somewhere. So I went to the gym and I went to church.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't even so much for the God and all this stuff. It was just for, like, I had a pastor who was like a smart guy who helped me out and was kind of like a therapist. And I didn't have to go to AA because who wants to join in other people's misery when you're already miserable?
Right. Yeah, that is an interesting thought, and I think your point about the party being over is very apropos. I mean, even with drinking, that's going out and doing these club nights where you're just drinking your face off and you're up super late, and there's a certain point where you just do that out of habit, and then you realize, like, I'm not having fun now anymore, and I'm certainly not having fun the next day. But there's this like momentum that just keeps carrying you through to like do it again. Like, what are we gonna do? All right, well, let's go out and let's do it. And there's like that one or two times that it got you laid that like fuck with your head, and act as this counter force keeping you doing it. But you're right. I mean, the party ended a long time ago. I mean, that's for most of us, and there's maybe a couple of us that the party's still going on, but really it's over. And it's just a matter of stopping that negative momentum and realizing, like, hey, it's time to shift. It's time to look another way.
Yeah, I mean, you got to grow up one day, Peter Pan.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta, like, especially, with me, it was, I cleaned my act up before, I had a kid. And sure, I'm sure there's nights where I'm like, I want to go party, but, I have a good system around me of people to, like, say no, or just, slap you on the wrist and say, having a good woman in your life, or obviously a child. I have a daughter who I have, raised with help of my family her whole life.
Yeah, so that's good.
So, kind of the whole single dad thing. I don't have time to do that kind of stuff. So, I mean, especially like having a drug habit right now is just not.
Yes, that's a good
part
point.
of the cards.
That's a good point. A lot of people, I think, whether they're trying to make some kind of change in their life, sometimes you have to drop the people that influence all those things. Did you have to drop a lot of friends that would keep trying to get you to make those bad decisions?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have any friends anymore. Like, besides my teammates that are at the gym, or I literally go from gym to cryotherapy to gym to physical therapy, and then if I'm lucky, I'll stop by my friend's house who I've just, rarely, like, to get a massage. My buddy who does all my meals and my juice also does my massages. And I get like 2 or 3 weeks. So that's like my extent of friendship. Like, it's.
So you really
I don't have anyone else.
Yeah, you really just tightened up the circle. And
yeah, and if I'm gonna go do something, I don't know. I don't like people very much. It's not like I don't like fans. I don't like crowds. I don't like being around people. I like my solitude. I just want to be, at home with my daughter, because I don't get to spend as much time as I want with her as she deserves. And also, I don't know.
Well, that makes sense. And then the key is to just really listen to what suits you the best, and not try to fit into, whatever, either momentum or whatever pressures from old friends, pressures from family, pressures from whatever that is. It's funny when you really just actually give yourself permission to listen to your own voice and listen to what you want to do. It's really incredibly rewarding to do that, and just have that night where you don't want to go out. It's Friday night. Everyone's like, oh, what are we going to do? And you're like, nothing, not doing anything, and not having to lie to them and be like, yeah, maybe I'll meet you, bro. Yeah, maybe I'll meet you. I'll see you there. And then just not doing it. And then you feel guilty. And then it's a weird thing. Just like fucking sack up and be like, nope, doing nothing. Got my onesie on. I'm going to drink some fucking tea.
Exactly. I'm going to make some tea, and I'm going to sit in bed and watch a movie.
Yeah.
Like, after I put my daughter down to bed, I'm going to sit I'm going to sit in here. This is my room. And I mean, it's, I don't know. I just, like, even my house is now, I live, like 35 minutes from the gym. which in Orange County, it's far enough, where if I leave the gym for whatever reason and I'm headed home, like I hit a certain point and if someone calls, I'm like, I'm not coming back. I live far enough away where I'm like, this is my getaway.
Yeah.
And I live down on the beach in San Clemente, so it's beautiful, and it's like, I have my little pocket down here where I just can relax and not think about fighting, because fighting is the last thing I want to think about. To be honest.
Right.
I hyperanalyze everything, and especially with my own fighting, it's just constant analysis of what I did wrong today, what I did right today, whatever.
So what is that? Some of that can be beneficial, but some of that can be pretty detrimental. If you're kind of constantly beating yourself up, what's the balance that you've found that works for you as far as learning from your mistakes, but then not like continuing to beat yourself up over it? Because I know me personally, I tend to be in that way too critical, way too hard on myself. I mean, I'm still mad at myself for fucking up, one piece of action in a play I did in college that was an improv play, and I had a wardrobe malfunction. I freaked out, and I still will like cringe when I think about it and be like, Aubrey, you fucking idiot. You could have done all of these different options, And so there's this balance between learning and then, being kind to yourself and forgiving. What's that you've found?
Man, like a perfect example. So get out of the gym, and my girlfriend, she doesn't live here. She lives in Reno, Tahoe area, which is like 600 miles away. So she comes to town, we get out of the beach, and we go down. There's this little boutique hotel in Laguna Beach that my friends all work at, and I always stay at. It's just awesome. And we always sneak into the pool or the spa. But that's like our little thing, like no one's gonna come down and bother us.
Right.
It's not like, it's not like a big resort or anything. It's this tiny little place, and we get out of the spa. We're laying on a day bed, listening to the ocean because it was like 75 degrees a couple days ago at night. And she's like, "What are you thinking about? Hey, babe, what are you thinking about?"
Yeah.
And I was so immersed in we sparred that night, so I was like constantly thinking about it. And in camp, it's like that. I'll think about fighting like constantly. I mean, I literally walk on the house like this. That's how I've always walked on the house. I chase my daughter around the park, and I'm crawling, like my hands and feet. I'm chasing after her like a weirdo. I'm like, it's just everything revolves around that. But when I've learned to just kind of take a step back, like as far as, because you can't bring the fight home with you all the time.
Right.
And drive you nuts. So it's just other activities, the beach. If I'm up in Nevada, we do hikes or go to Tahoe. All my family's in Tahoe. Yoga, Bikram, thanks to my girlfriend, has been a huge mental thing. There's like, I just try and spend as much time recover. I tell people this because people train too hard. You do 2 workouts a day, and then I spend just as much time recovering as I do training.
Yep.
Like I said, I do cryotherapy every day, almost every day. I get a massage, 2 or 3 times a week. It's a full, intense, deep tissue massage. Then I'm at my physical therapy place. So I just keep myself busy, and then I don't think about things. And I don't have to be physically exerting myself, to take my mind off everything. It's just I don't know. It's a hard spot when you're trying to, you have to put everything you have into being world champion.
Right.
Like everything. It's not like something. It's just so hard to turn off when I know that this is probably my last chance again, and I'm within reach, and it's like everything else is to take a back seat, which sucks, but that's the
Sure.
price you pay for greatness.
Sure. There's that, there's times in life where you got to sprint, you got to run, but you have to do it mindful of how far you have to go and not burn yourself out. That's that balance of streamlining all the extraneous shit, that's important, but then not pushing so hard that your body, shuts down and is like, nah, fuck you. We're getting sick. So you're going to stop one way or another. I've done that countless times, pushed myself to the point where my body's just like, you know what? Screw you. I'm done. You're going to lay in bed and not do anything because I'm going to make you, and that's that kind of fail safe. But knowing that balance of how hard you can push, but also, taking the time to recover, even if you're not a fighter, whether you're working hard or whatever, making sure that you're keeping in mind the counterbalances. I mean, if you're really stressed out and you're working 14, 16 hours, taking that time to do, yoga, to get your fresh juices, to do these things to counteract it is incredibly vital. Otherwise, you're just going to burn up, and something's going to fail. So it applies to, really everything in life is knowing, there are times when you're going to have to push, and that's fine, but just make sure you're doing those countermeasures as well, and paying attention to when you need to rest.
Yeah, exactly. And it's hard not to push through everything, because especially as a wrestler and as a professional fighter, athlete, like, I'm like, oh, just like me being sick in Brazil, I'm like, I'll be fine. Mm-hmm. I created a machine that is my body that I know what I'm capable of. I know that I'm, athletically, technically, like, everything is so strong that once I found that out, I'm like, no, like, I'm fine. Like, even though I felt like crap in training, I'm like, I'll be fine.
Right.
I'll push through. Like, I've primed and prepped this vehicle, I've mapped and blueprinted my motor perfectly. I give it race fuel all the time. That I just, I don't know. I guess I did. I overexerted myself, and I paid the greatest cost. Besides losing my life.
Right.
I ended up in a freaking Brazilian hospital.
Yeah, indeed. Well, the good news is you get to get after it again. Just a slight delay, just a little pause in things. No worries.
And it, I think that I've gotten to him mentally. That's the thing. I think he realized like what sort of psychopath he's working with. Like you couldn't make weight, and you're normal. You're fine. Like I had to be hospitalized, but I'm still gonna make weight.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to hurt you. I'm going to like just systematically, technically just dismantle you, and just try to I'm addicted to suffering. Like I'm addicted to this like kind of thing, and it's I don't know. I've maybe it's not drugs anymore, but it's like doing cryotherapy. I make sure she puts it on the coldest possible for 3 minutes, and I just take it. Like I enjoy it. I enjoy the rush of suffering. I enjoy the rush of wrestling practice. Like even though it sucks, it's you just gotta push yourself, and like it's weird. People don't get it unless you've trained as hard or you specifically wrestled. That whole iron thing. Sorry, my little thingy. You just create a person, and I know I'm a different case where I don't know. Maybe there's something inherently wrong with me where I really enjoy the pain, the suffering, the thing. Because at the end of the day, I have that like weight lifted off my shoulders, and I feel
right.
and know that I've accomplished something. Every single day, I have to feel that way.
Well, it's a certain type of Pavlovian conditioning, where you get the pain yields a result that's positive. The cryotherapy has an initial cold that yields a much greater extended pleasure. So your body starts to recognize that as no longer pain, but as this process that leads to pleasure. So it leads you towards it. So I think that's perfectly normal. It's the same with things that people who complain about, some of the healthy food that tastes bad. Oh, it tastes bad. Well, start eating it for a while, and then your taste buds will actually change because your body will feel better. So it'll associate feeling better with that taste. And then all of a sudden it's not going to taste bad anymore. The body makes adaptations to push you towards the things that are good for you and push you away from the things that are bad generally, although sometimes we can trick the body with like high fructose corn syrup, and it's just too much of a trick that the body can't figure it out. But most of the time, the body's going to be able to, kind of sort that shit out and push you in the right direction.
Yeah, that's a big thing that's happened with my, like you said, taste buds, my food, like I can't eat crap anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I remember the first fight camp with Brad Pickett where I did all this diet and it was on point. And I had to go to the DMV. I had a bad day. And this was like a couple weeks out from my fight. I'm like, screw it. I got in and out, like Neapolitan, milkshake, double, fries, ate all of it. And then I had to drive down to go see my masseuse who does the meals and stuff. And I was like curled up in a fetal position on his massage table, like in pain. Like, why does this? All I did was eat in and out. And he's like, yeah, man, you can't eat that anymore.
Yeah,
like,
that's off the menu for you.
Yeah, and it's even like my daughter. She chooses salad over, like other foods.
Pizza? Don't say pizza. No daughter chooses salad over pizza.
I don't know. Maybe I've just conditioned her to do it, but she just loves like foliage. She loves vegetables.
Well, that's
she loves
awesome,
fruit.
man. That's the way it should be.
She's not even a big meat eater. I mean, she loves fish, but she's not that big of a meat eater. I mean, every once in a while I'll cook like a a good piece of meat, or I'm trying to get some from some of my hunter friends, some venison or elk or moose or whatever they've shot, wild pig.
I think our friend Rogan has about 400 pounds of moose in his freezer, so you should.
Yeah, I gotta text him.
You should holler at him. He's got.
I'm trying to get into hunting for that specific reason, for meat. But actually, I was raised with a mom that's a chef, and very healthy parents. My dad's world traveling surfer, waterman kind of guy, hippie. But like, I was always, we were always about quality food,
Mm-hmm.
So it's and having those like wild caught, all this stuff, whatever kind of meat, whether it's fish or or elk or something, it's good. And plus my mom married a really famous hunter and tracker.
All right.
So up in Alaska. So she used to send down jerky and stuff when she used to live in the bush. And I don't know, it's stuff that I've always been into and always liked. And it's, it just so happens that it's all beneficial to everyone's life, but to mine and my daughter's life specifically.
Right on, my friend. Right on. Well, anything we can do to support as you get ready, as always, we're here, my brother. And
thank you.
Kick some ass and have some fun. It's a pleasure getting to know your life a little bit better.
Thank you. Good talking to you, man.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, people, we got Keith Jardine coming up. You probably listening to this after the Keith Jardine, but that's who's next. The Dean and Mean. We're talking to him tomorrow. We're gonna get weird about coffee. That's what we're gonna do, Orlando. Keith gets real weird about coffee. Goes deep.
I hear he's nervous to be on the podcast.
What? The Dean and Mean?
He's really nervous.
Oh man, that's crazy.
Oh, by the way, you guys turned me into a coffee snob.
Yeah, exactly. That's what
caveman did.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Just wait till you hear Keith go off on coffee. I mean, this dude knows his fucking beans. He's a bean wizard.
Listen.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Ian. Have a great camp, my brother. We'll see you on the 31st.
See you, man.
All right, later.